Hello, and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. Coming up in today's newscast, the Israeli Prime Minister partially backs an Arab peace plan. A Republican leader is calling on Trump to take a more pro-Israel stand. And Gazan schoolchildren star in a play about killing Israelis. I'm Denise Wood here with the latest news in Israel. Yesterday, Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman was sworn into office, and both he and Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke out in support of a two-state solution. Both leaders praised a recent speech by Egyptian President al-Sisi, calling for a renewal of the peace process.
אני הקשבתי לכל מה שאמרת ואני בהחלט מסכים לכל הדברים. כולל שתי מדינות לשני עמים.
While Lieberman spoke out in favor of a peace solution, the biggest surprise came as Netanyahu partially endorsed the Arab Peace Initiative, which would include negotiating peace plan parameters with the Arab states, in return for full diplomatic ties with 57 Arab and Muslim states, after signing a peace accord with the Palestinians.
I take this opportunity to make clear that I remain committed to making peace with the Palestinians and with all our neighbors. The Arab Peace Initiative includes positive elements that can help revive constructive negotiations with the Palestinians. We are willing to negotiate with the Arab states revisions to that initiative so that it reflects the dramatic changes in the region since 2002, but maintains the agreed goal of two states for two peoples. To this end, we welcome the recent speech by Egyptian President al-Sisi and his offer to help advance peace and security in the region.
Netanyahu claims he's fully committed to a two-state solution and thinks the Arab solution, which was first put forth in 2002, has positive aspects that could help with the peace talks. The one thing Netanyahu didn't mention was the French Peace Initiative, which is set to kick off this Friday at a conference in Paris. The Prime Minister also didn't mention the conditions he has consistently demanded in order for a peace deal, including that it must guarantee a demilitarized Palestinian state and recognize Israel as the national home of the Jewish people. Also surprisingly, Lieberman endorsed all of Netanyahu's statements, including saying that the Arab Peace Initiative could help restart talks. The U.S. elections are drawing closer, and U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan is pushing for the Republican Party to take a stronger stand on supporting Israel. Ryan has now made comments requesting that Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump clarify his views on Israel. It's looking like Trump will be the next Republican candidate, and in the past he's made several controversial comments on his views about Israel. Ryan is now saying it's problematic that Trump has often said he's neutral when it comes to Israel and the Palestinians, and that it should help him broker a deal between the two groups. Ryan did note that Trump gave a clear message of support for the Jewish state in his AIPAC speech, which was more in line with the traditional Republican position, but says that's still not enough. Ryan claims that the Republican standpoint is not neutral, and Trump should clearly be pro-Israel. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has also said that America can't be neutral when it comes to Israel's security or survival. Israel is known for being at the cutting edge of new medical discoveries, and Professor Howard Cedar is at the forefront of developing ways to diagnose and treat cancer. ILTV's Steve Leibowitz met with the Hebrew University professor to talk about receiving the Bonei Tzion Award and what he's discovered so far.
So everybody knows that the whole basis of life is DNA. It's our genes. So if you understand, genes are basically an instruction booklet that tells cells how to make all the components of the body. And this discovering the language of DNA was a very, very important discovery. It was in the early 60s. What we did was showed that this language, like many other languages that we know, like English and Hebrew and Russian, has a method for annotating the language, for putting marks on the language, which enables the reader, in this case the cell, to understand when and how to read the information. And this turned out to be a very important discovery because it's what's responsible for directing how our bodies are made. So this is the basis of what we call DNA methylation.
When I was growing up, and I'm sure when you were growing up, DNA was something that was theoretical perhaps, but really we couldn't do very much with it, I suppose. There's a long way to go in DNA research as well, isn't there?
So we know a lot of information. A lot of the information has been used for good purposes, but the amount that we don't know, and in particular the potential of this knowledge in all walks of life, in agriculture, in medicine, in understanding society, right, is still to be discovered. It's a wide open field.
So how about you, in your case, where are you going to be taking your research in the coming years?
So we've been working on this topic for almost 40 years, right? But there's still many basic problems that haven't been solved. And now many people, including ourselves, are finding new ways to apply this knowledge. Okay? New ways, new tests to discover diseases, new ways of treating cancer, new ways of understanding how we can improve the health of the population. And this is the direction we're going in.
You chose years ago to make Israel your home. Do you think that your life in research would have been different or very similar if you had stayed in the United States?
Before I came on Aliyah, many of my colleagues told me that Israel is not a great place to do research. There's not enough money. There are many few scientists there. And obviously I didn't listen to them. And it turned out that they were completely wrong. Totally wrong. It turned out that Israel has what maybe no other place in the world has, is a culture that's ingrained in society, a culture of science, a love of science, a want to make progress. And this is the most important part of doing research, and I was fortunate to be here to be able to take advantage of this.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations on your well-deserved reward, and good luck in all of your future research.
Thank you very much.
A new video has been released showing Gazan school children acting in a play where they pretend to bomb Israelis and even take an Israeli soldier captive. The video shows school children from a neighborhood of Gaza City in a play put on by their elementary school. In the play, the children are dressed as Islamist jihad fighters, who are wearing camo and carry around fake guns and helmets. The video also shows the children's parents and teachers encouraging them in the play, as the children pretend to raid an IDF outpost, plant a bomb under an Israeli tank, kill an Israeli soldier, and take another Israeli soldier captive. This isn't the first video that's been released of Gazan school children carrying out plays like this, but it is the most violent one that's been released to date, as it shows elementary school children carrying out killings. A senior member of the Islamic Jihad terror group was also present at the performance and gave a speech thanking the school, as well as ironically claiming that Gazan children dream of singing, playing, and living like other children of the world. Tel Aviv is known for its thriving art scene, but if you don't know where to look, it can be hard to find emerging artists. If you don't live in Israel, it's even more challenging. But one Israeli company is working to change that. Ron Laufer is the owner of the online gallery Art and Twist, where art lovers can check out Israeli artists without ever setting foot in the Holy Land. He's here with us today to tell us more. Thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
So, first of all, what exactly is Art and Twist?
Artist and Twist is a virtual platform that exposes Israeli artists, painters, sculptors, photographers, video artists, and we help them to show their art, sell it. We do auctions, online auction and physical auctions, and what we're trying to do is actually taking out the art from the studios and show it to the world.
So it's basically like an online gallery.
It is an online gallery.
And do you show only Israeli artists, or how does that work?
Well, 90% is Israeli artists. The other 10% is Jewish artists that live abroad, or Israeli artists that live abroad. We have few artists that travel and paint everywhere. They paint the view, they paint the people, you know. They like to travel and paint, so, you know, we never even say no.
Definitely, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to be featured on your website. How do you go through choosing the
Well,
people?
we have a curator system. That's we review the work, we review the personality, we review the potential, we review the past works, the future works, and we help them. We actually choose excellent artists. We won't take anybody.
I looked at the website. I will agree with that.
Thank you. And we try to help them to, you know, break the ceiling.
Definitely. Now, is there a theme that you're going for with their art right now on your website, or you pull from different types of art?
Well, we have all kind of art. We don't believe that we have to, but we push, you know, different artists for different directions. For example, we have an artist called Eric Bracha. Now we take his amazing art to Canada, because pop art is very popular over there. It depends which market is it. It's for the Russian market, it's different kind of art. It's for the European, for the Mediterranean. Each area requests different kind of art. So, you know, we try to mix and match.
Definitely. Now, I understand it's not just taking established artists and displaying their work. You're also helping artists develop their craft, correct?
Exactly. First, the most important thing about art, I think, is the talent of the artist. So if we recognize a talented artist that doesn't have the right PR or doesn't build his name yet, we will help him get to where he has to get.
Definitely. Now, is there any artist that you have in mind that you could tell us about that it's been a success story for them?
Well, for us, all of them is a success story, you know. We have amazing artists. We have June Katz. She's a Ole Hadash from New Zealand. She's doing amazing abstract. We have, as I told you, Eric Bracha, amazing pop artist. We have David Rubin, also an Ole Hadash from the States. He's amazing photographers with many kind of, different kind of subjects. You must check his website, mini sites. And we have Michal Gurnandan. She's a very unique pop art kind of artist, very special.
It sounds like a wide variety also.
It is. I mean, we have to expose art. You know, every person of different kind of love, different kind of passion. We like to show the best, and as more as possible.
Definitely.
We have also artists art collections that belong to artists that no longer with us, you know. Some people pass away, but they left amazing art behind them.
Sure, that lives
so
on.
we had the family show it, you know. It's very limited kind of art, but it's there. It's few pieces, and it's kind of museum level.
Definitely. Now, these pieces sound amazing. You mentioned there's an auction feature. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, we're building a new system of auction where the artist can sell his art directly to the end clients on a bidding system. This bidding system is going to be a lot of fun because the artist will have the hammer in his hand. He will be able to close the deal before the end of the sale. But he also be able to sell art without a minimum price.
Sure.
And this is a very unique feature because most of the art have minimum price. So because we will give them the option to buy without the minimum price, we build a nice icon called a bid insulted. That's the artist can actually tell a client that will offer an insulted price. So we try to build a system that will be fun and will help the client to treat the artist with respect.
Sure.
So it won't get noted as an insulted person.
Definitely. Oh, it sounds like a fun feature.
Yeah, it will be very fun. We try to do it in different ways, to take it out of the studios, make it more fun to buy, more fun We will let the clients know the artist. We'll have an intro video. We'll be able to know him. We'll see the studio. We'll see the past work. We give all the history of the clients, of the artist.
Fantastic. Now, final question. If someone's browsing the website and they see perhaps a piece of art that they would like to get, maybe it's not on auction, how do they get a hold of you? How do they...
Well, you know, as anybody else, you have an email, you have telephone. I mean, the easiest way is to get hold of me.
Well, it sounds very user-friendly, and like there's a lot of art that they'll want to buy.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Israel's known as the startup nation for its technological successes, but a lot of those companies are also working to do a little good in the world. And now, one Israeli accelerator is investing specifically in startups who specialize in tech to help people with disabilities. A3i says it's the world's first and only ability tech accelerator, meaning it picks startups to invest in based on their potential to help the disabled. The accelerator is now in its third round, and it's focusing specifically on finding startups with technology to help those whose disabilities impact their ability to see, hear, and interact with others. The accelerator does so by bringing in startups for a 9-month program and connects them with mentors, coaches, and potential partners for the venture. The idea is to help the startups grow their company and enable them to develop their technology and social ventures, which eventually can lead to the companies spreading their technology to help others. The A3i program is definitely beneficial all around, and it aims to help build up companies that not only have major money-making potential, but also have technology that can help make life better for millions of people. For example, one of the accelerator's graduates is Sesame Enable, which rigs a Nexus 5 phone to allow users to open apps and make calls, all by only using their voice. Guy Spiegelman is the head of one of the project's sponsors, and he says the goal of the project is to make use of Israel's great technology and use it to help make the world a better place. If you're looking to make a big move, Israel may be the perfect destination. ILTV's Natasha Kerchak headed to Tel Aviv to check out where you can invest in the hottest real estate in the Holy Land.
From Jerusalem penthouses to beach houses on the Tel Aviv coast, the rich and the famous can find any type of home they're looking for in the Holy Land. The luxury real estate market is booming in Israel, and today we're here to find out why. The claim that the rich are buying more and more apartments and homes in Israel turns out to be true. Sales increased by 19% last year and were well above the average in the first half of 2015. The Israel Canada Group is one of the leading companies when it comes to locating, promoting, and enhancing luxury properties. And they say Israel's up-and-coming luxury market is a product of how new the country is.
We are a country that doesn't exist for the last 70 years, so we discovered high rises for the past 15 years, and you can see the result. There is every, let's say, 6 months occupying a new building in Tel Aviv, and people are understanding that if they live in Herzliya, Ramat HaSharon, Kfar Shmaryahu, or even Tel Aviv in big houses, and their kids left the house, what we call the empty nest syndrome, they want to have a small apartment and the backyard should be Tel Aviv.
In Israel's luxury market, apartments are outstripping houses. Last year alone, over 115 apartments were sold for over $2.5 million apiece. So how much money are you looking at spending if you want to invest in luxury real estate in Israel? Israel Canada has developed the high-end Tzameret Park neighborhood of Tel Aviv, and Ofer says the area's high-rise apartments sell for top dollar.
So let's say it's between 3.5 million shekel, which is $1 million for 3-room apartment. You can get 3-room apartment for 10 million if you make it very big. But let's say the 70-80 meters apartment between 3.5 to 4 million shekel.
For those of you who are wondering if the ongoing conflict in Israel is deterring people from investing in the country, you might be surprised.
When a war or conflict started, let's say 1 week after, we can see the industry of real estate booming because people want to keep their money in a solid place. They don't want to be on the stock exchange with the papers that you don't know where they will go. They want to be with concrete, land. You can see around you, if you have a quick view with the camera, you'll see there is no conflict in this neighborhood. People need to live somewhere and they trust Israel, and I have to tell you that people from Europe and the States are coming to Israel to feel safe.
Despite the sky-high prices, the apartments in Tzameret Park are even running out.
The last building that has been built will start a couple of months from now. Will be the last one in the neighborhood. So from here the price will only go on because you don't have any new alternative in the neighborhood.
The hands-down champion of the luxury real estate market is Tel Aviv. It turns out homes on the Tel Aviv coastline are typically the most expensive, and some homes have even sold for 100 to 110 million shekels in the past. Yet according to the Israeli tax authority, the most expensive home sold in Israel last year went for 87 million shekels, and was located on the popular Rothschild Boulevard in central Tel Aviv.
I believe nothing can duplicate the atmosphere of Tel Aviv. I host here people from all over the world. The biggest brands that come to open stores in the malls here, and on one hand you can get the best metropolitan, you can get all the clubs, museum, everything. And second, it's small, you can feel the village from here to the beach.
Michaela Berko is one of Israel's former top models, and apart from gracing the cover of Vogue, she also spends her time helping promote luxury real estate throughout Israel.
I love it. I lived all around the world, in many places. Of course it's my home, but still I lived all over, and I love the feeling that we have a touch of a little bit of Europe, of New York, of other places in the world inside of little small Israel.
With a view like this behind us, it's not so hard to understand why somebody would want to buy a luxury apartment here in Tel Aviv. You have the sea, the city. What more can you ask for? If you're looking for a getaway, Israel seems like the perfect place to go. Luxury real estate in the Holy Land is a lot more affordable. The average price per square meter in New York City is close to 3 times the figure in Tel Aviv. And in Israel's special white city, you can even get an amazing Mediterranean view. This is Natasha Kirchuk reporting for ILTV.
And now for our Hebrew word of the day. Today's word is tari, which means fresh in Hebrew. Just like in English, the word tari can be used for a number of things. If you're sitting in a restaurant in Israel, you can say, "Ani rotza mitz tapuach tari," which means I want fresh orange juice. Ochel tari, or fresh food, is just one of the great things about the Holy Land, and you'll definitely want to try some Israeli produce on your next trip. Besides talking about food, you can also use the word tari to talk about other things that are fresh, like to say something just happened, like a breakup or a big life change. But just remember, things that are tari and new can definitely be good, whether it's good for the stomach or for the soul. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. Today it's 80 degrees and sunny in Tel Aviv. Tomorrow it should warm up even more to 87. All right, everybody, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.85 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at iltv.tv, and don't forget to check out our evening update every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and see you tonight.